Hi, first grade. So we are going to start off with reading our reading comprehension passages together and going through and answering the questions. So ideally, you've already done this by yourself and you're just coming here to check in on your answers or to have me read the story to you. So I will always start out these videos reading the story to you. If that's all you need, I want you to pause it and go answer the questions by yourself and then come back. If you've read the story and you've answered all the questions, follow along with me and we'll check your answers. So our first story is Hiccup Help by Guy Belleranti. James had the hiccups. "Stand on your head," said Bella, "then the hiccups will fall out." "Thanks for your help," James said, "but I think I'll try something else first." James covered his ears. Then he held his breath and swallowed. "Did it work?" Bella asked. "I think so. Hiccup, hiccup." Bella laughed. "I think you better stand on your head." "Not yet," James said. "I'm going to try my way again." "They're your hiccups, but my way's better. My way would make those hiccups." "It worked," James cried. "My hiccups are gone." Bella stared. "I wonder where they went." "I don't know and I don't care," James said. "I'm just glad they're gone." "Yes, but hiccup, hiccup." "Oh no, now I know where they went. You, hiccup, hiccup, gave them to me." James smiled. "Try standing on your head, Bella." All right, so if you've already answered the questions, I want you to keep going. If you haven't, I want you to pause it and go answer, and then you can come back. So we're going to start with number 1. So what we're working on when we do these guys is reading comprehension. And remember, reading comprehension means that you understand what you've read. And that is not only important in literacy, it's an important life skill. And we've talked about all of the different ways and reasons why it's so important that we understand what we're reading. So these questions are going to kind of test and make sure that we really understood. Some of us are super fast readers, which is great, but we read so fast that we don't actually understand our story. So this will be a good exercise for us to go back and see whether or not we really understood what we read and if we need to go back and do it again. So number 1, in the story, what problem is James having? So a good test-taking strategy when you guys see a multiple choice question is to read each one and get rid of the ones that don't make sense. So let's go down each one, and if something doesn't make sense, we're going to cross it off right away because that'll help narrow down what we have left for answers. So in the story, what problem is James having? A, James is fighting with Bella. No, we know that he doesn't fight with Bella. So we're going to cross that off. James has the hiccups. Well, that's true, so I'm going to leave it, but I'm going to keep reading what I have left, just in case there's a better answer. C, James can't stand on his head. No, that's not true because he didn't say he couldn't. He said he didn't want to because he wanted to try his way first. So we know that's not a good answer. D, James thinks Bella is being bossy. No, we never read anything about how James felt Bella was being bossy. So I'm going to go back up to B. James has the hiccups. True, he did have the hiccups, and that's my best answer. So I'm going to circle B. When you guys come across reading comprehension questions that are short response like this, where you have to answer by writing, it's always a really good idea to go back to the text and reread it. So let's start with number 2 and we'll practice this. Number 2, what is the first thing, so they bolded first, that's important. What is the first thing James does to try to get rid of his hiccups? Does it work? So we're going to go back to our story and we're going to peruse our text until we find something that tells us what he did first. And first is going to be our key word. So we're going to scan our text until we find the word first. Oh, so I found the word first, and I'm going to read the sentence above it and the sentence below it so that I can understand what exactly is happening. But I think I'll try something else first. James covered his ears. Then he held his breath and swallowed. So that tells us, by finding that key word, what James did first. So we can go back to our question. What is the first thing James does to try to get rid of his hiccups? Does it work? So we know that James covers his ears and holds his breath. So we're not done. We only answered the first part of our question. We have to answer the second part. Does it work? No, it does not work. All right, number 3. What does Bella want James to do? Okay, so let's go back to our text. And I'm going to look for the word Bella just to help me concentrate on what exactly I'm looking for. So I see the word Bella. So I'm going to read the sentence above my keyword Bella and below to see if it helps me answer my question. Stand on your head, said Bella. Then the hiccups will fall out. So my question wants to know, what does Bella want James to do? Well, Bella wants James to stand on his head. All right, number 4, we have a multiple choice question again. So remember, when we see these, we're going to read all of our options and we're going to cross out the ones that are no good so that we only have the correct answer left. Number 4, what happens to James's hiccups at the end of the story? A, he can't get rid of them. No, we know that he gets rid of them. B, he gets rid of them by standing on his head. No, we know that he didn't want to stand on his head because he tried something else first. C, he gives them to Bella. I remember reading something about that, so I'm going to keep that open, but I'm going to keep reading all my options to make sure. D, he gets rid of them by drinking water. No, I never read anything about him drinking water. So C, he gives them to Bella, is my best answer. If you guys need a little bit more time, I want you to pause the video and then restart when you're ready. I'm going to move on to our next page. All right, so our directions are draw lines to match the words from the story with their meanings. So this is always a little bit tricky because once we get all of our lines going, it can be really hard to figure out where we're at. So in addition to drawing the line, I'm going to write the letter. So we have to find the definition or the meaning of the word hiccup. So hiccups are tiny coughs that can be hard to stop. So letter E, swallowed, caused something to move down the throat. So when you swallow, you're moving something down your throat. So swallowed is letter C. Wonder, we talk a lot about this in letter C when we're wondering about different things like about birds or the sun, moon, and stars or different tools. But to wonder is to be curious, letter A. Glad, glad is another word for happy. So glad is letter F. Breath. Breath is air that you take in and out of your lungs. So when we breathe during mindfulness, we take a deep breath. We're moving air in and out of our lungs. And lastly, 6 is covered. So covered means that you're protecting something. Something is protected by placing something else over it, right? So if you have something special, you can cover it with your hand. You're protecting it. Again, if you want more time, pause the video, but I'm going to move on to our last question. So in the story, Hiccup Help, Bella tells James how he should get rid of his hiccups, but James wants to try it his own way. Tell about a time you wanted to do something your own way. How did it go? Did it work out how you thought it would? Or did you wish you had listened to someone else's advice? So these are exactly the same types of things that we do in our writing center. So you guys get a prompt like this, you do some brainstorming, and then you answer. So let's do some brainstorming together. So your job is to tell about a time you wanted to do something your own way. So it could be anything. You wanted to ride your bike your own way. You wanted to play a game your own way. You wanted to draw a picture your own way. I want you to think of one time that you wanted to do something your own way. And when you have that figured out, I want you to think next about how did it go? When you did it your own way, did it go well? Did it work out for you? Did you make some mistakes? think about, did it work out how you thought it would? Or did you wish you had listened to someone else's advice? So did it go, if it went well, did it work out how you thought it would? Did you think it would go well and it ended up going well? Did you think it would go well and it did not go well and you wish that you listened to somebody else? So your job is to write a paragraph answering this prompt. And remember, when we're talking about paragraph writing, we're thinking about our hamburger model. So our top bun is our introduction. Our hamburger is everything in between, our details. So remember, you can have up to 3 details. You can have 4 or 5 or 6 details, as many as you want. But then we have to have that bottom bun, because nobody wants to eat a hamburger with a top bun, a hamburger, lettuce, and tomato, and no bottom bun. So you have your introduction, you have your details in between, as many as you want, and your conclusion. I want you to have at least 2 details. At least 2 details. So you're writing a 4-sentence paragraph. And remember, first grade, when we're writing, we are always thinking about the big 6. So grammar. Does my sentence make sense? Penmanship. Can someone else read my handwriting? Can I read my own handwriting? Punctuation. Do I have a period, a question mark, or an exclamation point? Spelling. Remember, we don't expect you to spell everything exactly right in first grade, but we are so close to second grade that we should be really comfortable with at least sounding out our words to hearing, so that we can hear all those sounds and remembering all those tricky words like bossy R's, vowel teams, magic E. Then we have spacing. Do we have good spacing in between our words and letters? And capitals. Do we have capitals where they need to be and no capitals where they shouldn't be? All right, first grade, this is it for Hiccup Help. Check back soon and we'll go over the missing book mystery.